So this going, guys. My name is Steven. Today we're going to be talking about dreams once again. Yeah, let's get started. So the first dream is kind of takes place in this like weird, sort of modern like apartment complex. Like it's like an Airbnb sort of feel almost. So yeah, the people within it were like I think it was like two random girls I've never even seen before. Lightning from Total Drama and Roger Taylor from Queen. You know, just the cast of characters. And I think it was like this hide and seek sort of thing. Like Lightning was the seeker, and we were all like hiders and whatnot. It's so, you know, let the games begin. So I think as a first friend I like found a crate that was like full of like straw, I think. And I can just hear like from like the upstairs just Roger Taylor just screaming in his like high pitched voice. Like he's pulling off a really good falsetto as he's like fucking dying. I honestly have no idea what happened to like the other two girls, but I assume they got found because I won. Surprisingly. And then so like the second round began. I'm like in between couch cushions and all that, and once again I hear Roger Taylor just screaming his fucking ass off. Like you just saw like a murder. So that was fun. Just like going, oh great, Roger's having an episode. We gotta go run now. And so like I just bolt out of the apartment. Like I don't want to be involved in this anymore. It's like next thing I know. Because I know, like, Brian Johnson's just going to come back from the grave and just start striking thunder everywhere. Yeah, I don't want to be there to witness that. And that was kind of a short one. That's kind of just where it all ends, really. And so I wanted to take a look at, like, real quick, like, what's the first dream you can remember? Like, the youngest you were. And so first dream I can really remember, I was like maybe 6 months old. It was a very basic dream. It was just I was, you know, in my crib, and you know, it was just a view of my bedroom, and there was just like this cow in my bedroom. It kept mooing. I just remember being like super annoyed at the fact that there was just a cow in my bedroom just mooing. And, like, the reason why I distinctly remember this is because I had this dream reoccurring for, like, months. Like, and I never really, I could never really communicate to anyone, because I couldn't even speak. Like, so, all I could do is just sit there and watch as this cow just moves in my room. That's like, what kind of circle of hell is this? I keep thinking to myself, or I would be if I knew what it was. It's just crazy, right? And so on the subject of reoccurring dreams, there's one that I get like maybe once or twice a year, and honestly every single time I rehab this dream, there's something just a bit off about it. But yeah, the general premise is that I'm going into this like factory sort of thing with my dad. Or I think it's like maybe like a combination between like the Crayola factory and and like some glass factory. I have no idea. So the first thing we do is we walk in and we get like pictures taken in this like booth thing or whatever. Um, the tour starts off normally. I don't think the tour really had anything of significance. I think we just walked around a building, to be honest. It was an industrial one at that. So, yeah, we were just walking around the building, and I just distinctly, I don't really remember the tour. That part is always pretty short. It's just like what's after the tour, I guess. It's the post tour. So usually we go to this like shop that's like for some reason attached to the store. It's like the most gas station-esque shop you've ever seen in your entire life. I'm not even kidding. And I always get the same thing. I always get like a box of Gobstoppers. I have no idea why I remember that so distinctly. But yeah. And then here's where things get a little bit messed up. So when you exit the shop, there's just like all these like car bunk beds and all that, and like literally just bags of trash everywhere. And apparently that's where all the homeless people are, is that they're right outside the shop that's like right beside the factory, I guess. It's honestly so bizarre. And so that's just like the basic premise of the dream. Now here's where the details can get a bit different. I can't remember like every like nuance difference, but like, I think one of the differences is that it was is that like the picture booth, and almost every single one of them kept getting bigger. And that's just like one thing I kept noticing with the picture booth, is that like it started off very small, but it also like happened to be like it just increased in size to where it was like I think it, like the last time I had it, was as big as like a tennis court. And what's next is just like the picture room is just gonna be a football stadium at the point. Next time I have it, and so another thing is like notably the entrance door to the factory is like more revamped and a little bit more refined. Like I think the first time it was literally just a door, like there's nothing special about it, but like as we kept going back, it was it grew to be like this very flashy kind of door, having like it was open, light bulbs and all that around it, looking like it was one of those signs for like really anything in the 60s, those sort of thing. And so another detail that was most commonly changed was that like the store kept like carrying around like more exotic stuff, I guess you could say, because I remember like the store like literally having just like the first time I had it, having like the most like basic stuff, and then over time it just like I think it grew to have like an entire like beef jerky section or whatnot. I think like the last thing I kept like consistently changing was like the amount of homeless people that grew to be around that area, to where there were triple bunk beds, and like the amount of trash that was just piled up behind it. And so that's just things that consistently changed. Now we're going to go into things that were kind of exclusive to every time I had this recurring dream, is that for one, I think in one of the picture booths we had like I had taken a picture with like 2 other people because there had to be like some sort of QU or something, like, or it was just like really happened to be really busy, which was just abnormal for that location apparently. And then so the second one I distinctly remember this, is that I caused a ruckus in the store for some reason. I don't know why I was mad, but I just threw a fit in the store. I think I was like 11 or something, having like a 6-year-old level temper tantrum. So that was great. I think I had it like towards the back of the store where all like the drinks are and all that, like the Fraser stuff. And I think I remember like being in the parking lot after, like going through the door and all that, like the store, the homeless people and all that. And then I think the most distinct one is it wasn't like I think it was the third time. I'm not too sure like which version this was, but like the third time we actually got to talk to one of the homeless people, and apparently they claimed to be workers of this particular building, and this was just where they had to sleep. And like this was like this particular homeless place was like eerily similar to like level 3 of like the homeless shelter in Criminal Case, which I played a ton of at the time. And so I'm guessing I got this correlation because in the storyline, like the homeless kid in that story worked at a butcher shop, in which the owner of the butcher like gave him a chance and had him work there, and so that's why I'm guessing that's probably from. So yeah, that's number 1. Number 2 is that like it revealed that the place we were in upon and the interactions was like Mexico or something. So obviously this was like completely foreign, which is it's just probably like some government corruption in it. And also by the conversations, it seemed to be pretty rural as well. And then lastly, I think I remember like the most recent time I had this dream, which was about 1.5 years ago, was that our house got foreclosed and all that as we were there. And so we were like forced to just reside there. And so we became, one of them. We became one of the homeless people there. And yeah, that's just last time it occurred. Like, the place kept getting bigger, but like the people there kept getting worse, which is truly unfortunate. Like I said, I remember basically all the events that came after the tour, except for like within the tour, which just leads me to believe that it's like it probably wasn't significant in the dream. But then again, middle parts in dreams are like the most gray areas of me remembering. Like I surely remember beginning or center parts, which is why it's like kind of a blur. Yeah. So another one is that like for some reason I had these dream where like it took place in my house, right? And which is funny because it took place in that when I'm living in it now, but I actually wasn't living in it at the time. I was living in some other rental house, knowing we would come here pretty soon. And so I think it was like literally like Troy's like Roblox avatar, and like some other person that I forgot who. And there was just like these Five Nights at Freddy's characters just roaming the house, and I guess it was kind of like the security breach before it became security breach. Except there was like, for some reason there was like junk food coming out of like every crack and crevice of the house. It was kind of funny. Like I remember like lifting up the bed sheets and just finding like a giant pack of Oreos there. Like looking in the bathroom, there was just like Lay's chips like coming out of the tub or whatever. I guess I went to bed hungry. So another thing, so like we were just like basically roaming the house as these like Five Nights at Freddy's characters were just roaming in it as well, and we were like desperately trying to avoid them. And like there was one time where like we were in the bathroom and we like literally see them come towards the bathroom, so like we literally had like no other choice other than to like hide behind the bathroom door and just hope they don't see us. So I was situated on like the very outside of the of like the pack. So like I literally look out the crack from the door and I just like, see Freddy just staring into the bathroom. And we're like trying not to even breathe at that point. God, the more I'm talking about this, the more it reminds me about Joy of Creation, if anything. This is no security breach. This is like Joy of Creation. Yeah. And so I think I remember like going into the basement and I just like hiding behind a flower pot for some reason. Yeah, like it was kind of unethical, but I wasn't caught, question mark. Yeah. And so like we were just basically like, making a very slow slog right towards like the garage, because apparently the opening was right there or something like that. I don't know why we had to go there specifically, but yeah, it was like across from the rooms, like across from like the house. We were on the opposite side of the house compared to the garage door, and like, yeah. So that was that was kind of fun. Just as like a thrill seeker, just having FNAF characters roam around your house. I don't exactly remember if we escaped or not, because like I think I woke up literally before we got to the garage. Like I think we hid in the laundry room for a long time. Yeah, that's just kind of weird, right? And so actually I kind of remember like having another sort of Five Nights at Freddy's dream. It was I think it was a little bit more true to like the nature of the actual franchise, is that like I was basically in the car in the garage, same house, right? And I had this like this suit, right? The Freddy Fazbear suit. And so I was given like 3 or 4 cues, I can't remember. So when Freddy entered the room, you had to have the entire suit on. When Bonnie was in the room, you should only have the face on, but nothing else. And I remember if like Foxy was there, you have to hide underneath the seat. And Chica was there, you didn't have to wear the costume. And then they would walk through the door one at a time. And I had this strategy in my head. It's just Markiplier big brain strategy, where I would have the mask, the shoes, and like the pants on. So that way, if like Bonnie came through the door, I could just have like just take off the pants. If Freddy came through the door, I just put on the shirt. If Chica came on, I flicked my head to get the mask off, and take the pants off, right? And then, so if, like, Foxy came in the room, as far as I was concerned, you could be in any state of the costume so long as you were underneath the seat. And so it was, like, kind of perfect. It was honestly just surreal, just seeing the characters just rock around the car. And, like, I was just sitting in the back seat, like, the back right seat, just watching them come slowly prancing around the car. I don't think I actually got jump scared. I think it just, like, hit 6 a.m. and I wake up at 6 a.m. like, oh, it was just a dream. But yeah, it, like we were so close to dying. That's the thing. And then it just became safe, I guess. I don't know, nothing will describe that, like, really how that worked. So I think, like, the last dream I'll talk about is, like, I'm trying to remember, like, what's a good, like, closing dream? Like, what's an actually, like, decently long one? So I think, this one was, like, I had this dream, like, extremely recently. In fact, I think I had it 3 weeks ago. So I was, like, walking around in a mall, right? I was just kind of minding my own business. And so I am then approached by, like, the South Korean president, and they're like, Kim Jong-un and his sister are in the building, right? And they're out to get me. They're just like, and then I just imagine in my head just this, like, like, kind of like GTA loading screen type poster of just, like, Kim Jong-un holding, like, an assault rifle and her sister with, like, a baseball bat, and they're like, yeah, we're out to get the South Korean president. And yeah, so basically I had to get them before he was caught. And so, well, how exactly do we execute this plan? By dressing me up as a geisha. Sure, why not, right? And so I'm, like, advised to, like, follow the president around, but also, like, keeping, like, a keen eye for, like, any oversized individuals. Which is something that was, like, actually said in that dream. So it's like, well, okay. And I never asked what I got in return, so I couldn't, like, make a bargain or anything. That's the funny part. And so we're kind of just walking around this, like, mall, and it's, like, skinny, but it's also extremely tall, right? So there's just, like, a ton of stores that, like, there's just, like, maybe, like, 6 stores per floor, and they aren't particularly big, but it's, like, it's so tall, oddly enough. So it's like this skyscraper mall. And this isn't particularly uncommon in my dreams. Like, for some reason, skyscraper malls are the thing I dream about a lot. So we go up, like, 8 floors, just, like, walking. It's like, he ain't even shopping. He's looking for Kim as well. And so, like, we finally ran into them. Or, I'm sorry, I ran into them. Like, I see them, but, like, where's the president? So, like, I'm just kind of lost, because, like, I didn't know how I was gonna take them out. I'm a geisha. What am I supposed to do? I just like, do I pull out like one of those hand fans and just like giggle behind it? Like I wasn't given any like syringes full of poisons or anything. No, I was like given nothing. So I'm kind of just stuck. And I kind of just leave. I kind of just go in this like store, right? And I'm like talking to the counter like, have you seen the South Korean president anywhere? And they're like, they're here. Which obviously I don't blame their reaction. They probably didn't go in that building, but regardless, I still, like, I went behind the counter and just kind of went in like the towards the back. So for some reason I'm like, well, I kind of just got to get out of here. We signed no contract, no nothing, so it's like we're free to leave, right? So I get there, right? And I'm kind of just like exploring around the back areas, right? So then I run into the president again. Apparently he's just hiding behind there too. And he's like, look, I forgot to give you this. And gives me like this syringe, and I'm like, yeah, I saw Kim like on the same floor that I just escaped from, but I have no idea where he is now. Like, and I was like, honestly, I don't think I'm really gonna get anything. I don't recall there being like guards or anything protecting him, which is pretty ballsy of him. So instead I was just like, and so they were just like, well, you want your normal clothes back? We'll just part ways. I was like, I guess so. So I was giving my clothes back. Then he opens up a portal to like to some like rural village, and like his like all the houses are just completely made of wood. I'm like, where on earth did they send me? Did they send me to like rural Vermont? In which like someone walks up to me looking all like distressed, and it was like, there's someone that's missing or something like that. And so I don't know like who's missing, like who. And they're like clearly freaking out about it. They're grabbing, like, they grab my shoulders and just shake me back and forth. Like, do you know where he is? No. I enter in some random house and I literally just start playing Lego Harry Potter for like a good 5 or 10 minutes. And then I get like a notification on my phone. It was like, to one of my Roblox friends who I just recently met at the time. And they were like angry at me for whatever. I don't know what I did to anger them, but like they sent like this message like, I never want to see you again. I know what you did. And so I go and check their profile. Like, their about is literally just an image, just in red. It looks so bad. Like it was made in MS Paint. It says, I know what you did, Stuart. And like, what? Yeah. And some of it's been Dream Journal episode 2, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching.